My whole life, I've been the most obese person in the room at any given moment. This simple fact has shaped who I am and my outlook on life. To this day, I struggle with my image and self-esteem. My whole life, I was told that you'll always be fat. You're worthless. No one will ever accept you the way you are. You'll never leave your hometown. When you're told something enough, you start to believe it. I've tried and failed to better myself more times than I can remember. Constantly starting and never finishing anything. That was the story of my life. In 2016, I tipped the scales at 446 pounds. Since then, I've lost over 200 pounds and have been able to start taking control of my life. There were no shortcuts, proper diet, exercise, blood, sweat, tears. Physical and psychological discomfort well beyond what I thought I could endure. But I did endure. To say my life changed is an understatement. I've become a better person mentally, just as much as physically. But there are still wounds that even losing 200 pounds can't heal. I've only ever told a handful of people why I decided to change my life. That was to join the Army. A lifelong dream I was convinced I would never be able to achieve until I convinced myself that if I just put in the work, I would be able to forge my own path and do something meaningful with my life that might actually help make the world a better place than I found it. And for the last few years, chasing that dream was my reason for being alive. I eventually found myself in Fort Benning, Georgia, but unfortunately that's about as far as the story goes. I was involuntarily medically separated for having a pre-existing chronic medical condition that was directly related to me being obese for so many years. A lifetime of poisoning my body had left a permanent mark on me and ended up killing my dreams. I have a medical condition known as lymphedema, which means my legs are riddled with varicose veins and are prone to swelling. And even after corrective surgery for the sake of enlistment, it still persists to this day. So even after righting the wrongs of my past and trying to start over, I was still met with the searing pain of rejection. I felt like I was robbed not only of my destiny, but my only chance to do something meaningful with my life. I returned to civilian life just as quarantine began. I was now trapped in the one place I had tried so hard to escape for so long. I was more lost than I had ever been, and without direction or purpose, I questioned my very existence on a daily basis and why it even mattered. So what's the point? Why am I telling you all this? It's taken some convincing, but I finally come to realize that my story is far from over. In many ways, it's just beginning. Not only that, but I can still help people that need it. I can still try to make the world just a little better than I found it. And the only way to do that is to do the opposite of what I originally set out to do. To tell my story to the world. But up to now, my story lacks a key element. A physical and psychological challenge of epic proportion. One that takes me beyond my zones of comfort and familiarity or what I even thought I was capable of. I didn't lose 200 pounds just to call it quits when life didn't go my way. No, everything I've done thus far has at least in part been to prove to not just myself, but everyone that has ever been counted out, been told they'll never change or be in a better place, that you ultimately get to create your reality. And even if things don't work out the way you had hoped, at least you'll know you did every fucking thing you could, and no one can take that away from you. My entire life, I've had artificial limitations placed on me by others. I thought I'd be dead by now. But before that day comes, I owe it to the world to try and show as many people as possible that they too can fight off their demons. The quest I'm about to embark on is not to say, Look what I can do. Look what you can bring yourself back from. The Pacific Crest Trail, or PCT, is a 2,650 plus mile nationally designated scenic trail that spans from the Mexican to Canadian borders. It covers the lengths of California, Oregon, and Washington, 25 national forests, and 77 national parks. And I'm going to hike it, solo, in one shot. I'll start the trail in April 2022 and finish approximately in September. My plan is this: document the hike with professional-grade photo and video equipment to make a short film about the trail and my experience on it, and ultimately publish a book that details my life from its earliest days to those leading up to and beyond the hike. More than just a guide on how to lose 200 pounds, but how I overcame the psychological struggles that held me back and continue to hold back so many. How I learned to grow as a person and cast aside hate for the world. How I never stopped fighting for what I believed in. And now more than ever, I believe in my cause. I believe that getting my story into as many hands as possible has the potential to change lives for the better. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to ask for help. Between gear I still need, gear that will inevitably need to be replaced on the trail, food, and countless other things, cost associated with an endeavor of this magnitude is far more than I can handle alone. There are a few ways you can help me. The most straightforward being simply donate to my GoFundMe page. Every little bit helps, and donations beyond certain amounts will have tiered rewards ranging from prints of different sizes to special editions of the book and much more. You could donate an item, whether it's a piece of camping gear, an SD card, a camera battery. Again, every little bit helps and will go such a long way. Or even better, you can hire me for any photography or video services you might need, buy a print. And last but certainly not least, simply sharing this video to help get the word out there would help so much more than you can imagine. If even one person hears my story and decides to take initiative to better themselves, then I consider this whole thing a success. Look, I'm not asking for handouts. I'm asking for the means to help people that need it on a scale larger than I ever imagined I could. Thank you for taking the time to watch this.